Right everybody, what's happening? It's Div here again to talk about my UFC 4 wishlist part 2. Okay, so if you watched my last video, thanks for coming back for part 2. If you didn't, please go back and we'll give it a watch. I talk about career mode and other things I want to see in the game. Anyway, enough about that, let's get into the video. Alright everyone, this is a quick, at least hopefully, pre-record as I downloaded UFC 2 yesterday for more ideas about my career mode and game wise. It'll be short, I promise. Okay, so well, I had forgotten just how good they had made the UFC 2 career mode, and oh my god, the training. Wow, I forgot you could actually train. Now obviously if you go back to my first video, a lot of what I wanted for career mode is actually in UFC 2's career, but without the ability to properly train in the Ultimate Fighter house the way I described it in the previous video. Regardless, wow, it's way better than UFC 3's Become the GOAT. EA Sports UFC developers, if you're one of the 5 if I'm lucky viewers watching this somehow, please bring back what you started in UFC 2's career and just add way more to it. I love the real training, I love the experience you earn from fights to unlock and upgrade each and every move, plus the level for each move too. I forgot how fun it is. Having said that, I still like my idea of the homestay gym and learning from your coaches and training partners, learning mainly moves and techniques. Then, earning the likes of stats more so from training drills and fights. I mean, honestly, I didn't know what to expect when I went back to UFC 2. I downloaded it and was shocked at how good it was. The idea behind the career mode in UFC 2 was much better and has much more replay value. On a little side note, ground and pound is so much more satisfying in comparison to UFC 3. Now let me play devil's advocate a little bit. I will say, going from UFC 3 to UFC 2 with the stand-up was sickening. Wow, what an amazing job UFC 3 did with the stand-up. Now let me start with a couple of slight flaws. The hitboxes slash hit detection feels kinda poor, and it could be massively improved on. Sometimes the strikes are very sluggish and seems way too slow, but man, the movement. Body movement, feet movement, head movement, it is all so much better as is just the striking overall. Another little flaw I'd like to point out is I'd say the KOs in UFC are often way too motionless. I feel it has to be a mix between the ragdoll KOs in UFC 2 and the UFC 3 knockouts. So many times I've head kick KO'd a guy in UFC 3, but then he falls against the cage, so he's not actually knocked out and I have to follow up for no reason. I'd honestly quite like the knockout to the sitting cage be removed from the game. It was a fun animation to begin with, but wow, it's overdone. It happens all the time. Other than that, I truly can't complain too much about UFC 3's stand-up fighting. Alright, moving on to part 2 of my wishlist, and again thanks for watching, and if you're still here at this point, please leave a like and subscribe. Okay, so what I'd like to talk about is I'd like to talk about the game modes. So play now mode is fine to me. I'd like more options and customization for it, but as a whole, it's good. A good way to add into it would be to, and say it with me, add in Pride mode. Also, just be creative with some other game modes please. Another good addition would be to have Prime Fighters have different characters, looks slash attires. See part 1 about customization on my previous video. So a small example would be, let's say, a fat heavyweight Rampage Jackson like he is in Bellator right now. And then a prime lean heavyweight, light heavyweight Rampage Jackson who was champion. An unstoppable Pride Shogun, a UFC champion Shogun, and a slow old shotgun like now, and many more fighters just like that. You have got to add in way more legends and of course just for fun, fighters to use such as Mike Tyson, Tyson Fury, Jordan Burroughs, Bruce Lee, Floyd Mayweather, Deontay Wilder, kickboxing champions, Muay Thai champions, world class jiu-jitsu fighters slash champions, you get the idea. So, a couple of game modes I'd like to see introduced. Title mode and title defense mode. All of that good stuff from, and say it again with me, UFC Undisputed 3. I spent hours upon hours in these game modes. I liked the whole fact that you would win the title mode, and then by winning the title, you would unlock title defense mode. I loved the fact that it was a little arcade game where you had to fight 100 people until you've finally completed the title mode defense. You had to start off on the easiest difficulty and work your way up with damage staying continuously throughout all of the fights. I really enjoyed this mode and I'd love to see it again in EA Sports UFC 4, sorry. Alright, now continuing with the current game modes. Custom play now, again, is great. It needs the exact same as Play Now, which is more options. I feel Play Now should be more so like custom Play Now, is currently like. Custom Play Now should be dream matchup kind of fighting. An example of this could be such as John Jones versus Khabib, or Fabricio Werdum versus Tony Ferguson, seeing as they had beef. If it's custom Play Now, let us do what we want. It's anything goes in this mode. Let us be creative and have the creativity to do what we want in this mode. Now, the same can't be said for Knockout mode. Wow, what a useless, worthless game mode. At least in my opinion anyway. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. It's just a super bad version of Stand and Bang for me. Remove it from the game and replace it with either Pride mode, K1 kickboxing, even just a boxing only mode. Dana White has been promoting his Zuffa boxing for the longest time now, so add that. I don't care, it just needs to be removed from the game. It takes up space and it's worthless. Game modes that are okay but clearly need slight improvement are Event mode, Tournament mode and Practice mode. A few more additions to these would be fun. An online tournament mode and online practice mode would be nice. With these modes allow us as well in career and Play Now, and why not at live events too, to earn points, which in turn allows us to purchase unlockables like character types, attires and such, just like UFC 3 Undisputed 3 did. Make us play every game mode in order to unlock every last one of these, give us a reason to play everything. Alright, so I was just thinking guys, I know I've mentioned previous game modes and current game modes, but what I would like to see is some new game modes. So I've got a few ideas I came up with, just let me know what you think in the comments below if these are good or bad ideas. I don't mind, it was just little things that came into my head while I was writing this up. So, a new game mode I wouldn't mind seeing come to the game would be a manager mode, where you manage a bunch of fighters, get them to the UFC, build up a reputation. I don't know. That one's mainly just a little silly idea. Alright, so, one thing I truly would like to see implemented is owner of a gym, where you create a gym, a banner, a name, you select a location, and the type of gym you want to create. You would build the architect, design the gym exactly how you want, place the gym equipment and everything wherever you would want it to be. Now, coming with that, you would also pick what kind of gym you have, and that could be anything from kickboxing, karate, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, just boxing, MMA, whatever you fancy. Therefore, you could then hire coaches, they can rank up with you and become better at their job, or fire them if they suck, get a new, much better coach in, and build your gym up of fighters, which you can then recruit with money and sponsorships. Which again would then turn more money into the gym for better equipment, going from possibly, let's say, a boxing ring to a small cage to a large cage to having multiple cages, multiple rings, better equipment, better fighters would then come in. You'd get more money again and possibly multiple gyms throughout the country. This could also be possibly implemented into your online gym, something I'll talk about more in a little bit. Also, live events should be used to gain points in which you can achieve unlockables such as UFC 3 Undisputed 3 did. Give us lots of unlockables and make us play every game mode. I know I've already stated this, but this would be a good use for live events. Which brings me on to my next point. Another game mode that just needs completely removed, and I know you can guess what it is now, and I know I'll probably get slaughtered for this in the comments, but honestly, Ultimate Team, just please take it out of the game, remove it. It's terrible. I know they won't because it's EA, and EA is all about money. Which is why I no longer play FIFA and now play PES. Now, to play devil's advocate a little bit, I didn't mind it at all in UFC 1 and 2, and I was actually very good at it. I even had a positive record with all of my fighters being champions in the higher divisions before leaving to go play UFC 3. Where I hated it, and didn't bother to play it. Not much anyway. Although I thought it was nice to see them try something different and be innovative. But also, I just don't agree with any of EA's Ultimate Team type of game modes. But, I know for a fact it'll be in the game because it's EA. So let's all just hope they do a good, fair job and hope it's done properly without the need to buy packs and pay to win. Anyway, the less said about that, the better. So moving on to other online modes. Rank seems to be okay. Personally, this UFC I just haven't played too much online. You'll see why in the bonus clip at the end. Also, the fights you're watching right now is a best of 3 series, where I win 2 of 3 of the matches. Sorry for the spoil. Though I will admit I think the guy was truly better than me, and obviously you will see in this little clip here how lucky I genuinely got to win. Anyway, when I play online, it's just quick play I seem to play, which is exactly what this video is. I feel too many people fight the exact same way, and use the same fighters, or even try to pretend to go an average fighter, then quickly switch then quickly switch to go their 100 overall created fighter. I find that very boring. I also feel the connection on this game isn't as good as last year's game. I continuously feel like a lot of the frame rates mess up and you get hit with combinations that are unstoppable. Just a lot of this game, it sucks online. It does, it truly sucks. There's knee spams, elbow spams, there's side control spam, ground denial spam, there's stamina draining spam. I don't know, I just feel like there's so much problems with it online. If people fought and played the way they're supposed to in a fighting game, it would be fun. Nobody wants to come up against someone who's basically cheating on an online game. Nobody enjoys that. Play properly and everybody will have fun with it. If you're truly better than everyone else, that will be shown without you having to cheat. I feel like a lot of people just can't play the game properly, and it makes it so boring and it's just not fun. I played online a lot on UFC 1 and 2, even UFC Undisputed 3, and I loved it, but I just can't seem to get myself to play it this year. I only played it recently to get some footage for the video. I will say though, I do, when I play online sometimes, I enjoy the stand-up. Nothing else. The clinch and the grappling you guys know about, I don't enjoy it whatsoever. And I just feel, even when I'm a better fighter, say a grappler, I just can't do as much as I used to be able to do on UFC 2 with it. It's just not fun. The ground and pound is so weak in this game that I'm unable to get someone on the ground and do damage while I've got them there. I don't mind not being able to spam deny people on the ground. I like the fact that people can get up against me and it's like a real fight. What I don't like, however, is the poor striking. Although, when I am standing, what I don't like playing against is Dr. Sweatathon or Mr. I Cheese Unstoppable combinations. I don't know what to do about that. Honestly, just please allow us to somehow report or take something out of the game that doesn't allow this. Everyone is screaming out for a fun online mode and this just isn't what it is. Now, truthfully, I would absolutely love to see UFC 3's Undisputed Online come back, where you could create or join a gym and have practice matches against your mates, friends, buddies, whatever. I know mostly it'll be Americans watching this. Anyway, you get unlocks, etc. You fight for your gym in the online mode. I didn't get to use this to its full ability as I was just a teenager at the time and had school and other responsibilities, and didn't take full advantage of it when I could. I'd love to see that be reintroduced into EA Sports version of UFC. I like the idea of being part of a community within the community, and competing together to become the best players and gym, where it's not toxic and people want to help each other to become the best gym and dominate the online MMA world. Okay, some small wanted additions. Just small things I'd like to be added would be more Easter eggs. That'd be cool to be honest. Add the entire Pride roster, add in other organisations that UFC has bought/own, fix and do a better job of the manual. give advanced controls and better practice modes. I remember reading one of the pieces of advice on UFC 3, and I am so certain it says use R2 and the right stick to do a takedown. That is not the case at all. It's L2, and they haven't fixed that. The game's been out for what, 3-4 years, something like that, and they still haven't fixed that. That's shocking. That should be one of the first things you fix. I know that's not exactly an important feature, but that is something that just isn't acceptable in a AAA game. Now, another thing I'd like to see removed, actually, would be the annoying injuries when grinding up your stats in career mode, by making the training realistic by actually participating and not just selecting jump rope or heavy bag and getting automatic stats. That's lazy and shit. Now, I know that injuries are part of the game. Every fighter goes into a fight with an injury. That is well known, it's well documented, every single fighter knows that is the case. But that doesn't mean it has to be injury after injury after injury, having to go to the physiotherapist, having to get to a massage, an ice bath, whatever, to try and get your injury down so that you can then continue working on your stats. I am sick of having to go to the physio every single training camp, 3-4 times if I have to, in order to get my stats good. That's ridiculous. It doesn't have to be there. Please, don't completely remove it. Make it a little more rare. It doesn't have to be that much, and it's very frustrating at times. Personally, I'd like it to be changed completely like previously mentioned, but we'll see what happens. Corner advice has to be way better. At least if I'm losing a fight, shout at me and tell me I need to knock this guy the F out, pump me up or something. Strike impacts need to look cleaner and harder if they land that way. I would like to see the addition of kicks and knees to the body of a downed opponent who's turtled up. Another thing I'd like to see added, but truthfully I've no idea how it would be implemented, would be scrambles and 50-50 positions, just like Ryan Hall likes to do when he goes to pull off a submission. I'd like to see positions where the fight is being slightly stalled and the fighters get a slight stamina gain before the ref breaks it up, as both fighters are tired and just resting, like you often see in the clinch or on the ground when both fighters do nothing towards the end of a round, depending on the fighters of course. That's me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and leave anything you'd like to see in the next UFC game in the comments down below. Let me know how the video was and what I could improve on, please. I'm pretty new to doing this, and I would like as much criticism, feedback, whatever, to improve my videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.